welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. First, like to re-emphasise the message. Please like and subscribe. It does help get this channel going, keeps me occupied and out of trouble, and has been fun to do the last week or so of daily updates. And so if you could like and subscribe, please do click the relevant boxes at the end of the video. Also, I am planning, if there is sufficient interest, to do a post-match live stream on Sunday, an hour or two after the Celtic Aberdeen match finishes, which is kick-off 12 noon on Sunday in 2 days' time. Just going to do a quick update video this morning over the various transfers in and out and loan deals in and out that are being rumoured and circulating at the moment. In today's press, there has been confirmation that Celtic are actively inquiring with Manchester City regards the loan or loan with view to transfer for James McAtee, their very talented 20-year-old midfielder and attacking midfielder who had a very successful season at Sheffield United, spearheading their promotion push to the English Premier League, scoring 9 goals over the course of the season with a high number of assists and crucial passes, and was their Young Player of the Year last season. He still has a couple of years on his Man City contract, but the inside gossip is that he is looking for a move away from Man City, as he recognises that the options ahead of him are rather crowded for the midfield and attacking midfield roles at Man City. There are said to be up to 30 teams interested in his signature, with Celtic being one of those. There is mention of Real Sociedad in Spain, AZ Alkmaar in Holland, a number of English Championship sides such as Leeds and Leicester and Huddersfield, and a few of the newly promoted and bottom half English Premier League sides such as Burnley and Bournemouth and Brentford. Aston Villa and Brighton are both said to be interested in him, but of all the various different options, Aston Villa would be the only one who are going to be having European football guaranteed this season, with that being in the Conference League Cup version of European competition. And so the potential carrot of coming to play Champions League football at Celtic would very much be in our favour. He is said to be a player that Celtic have had on their radar for a couple of years, along with his fellow under-21 England international Tommy Doyle, who seems more likely to go to Wolves. But both were key in Sheffield United's season in last year's English Championship, progressing to the Premier League. I feel, having watched him on Sky Sports and watching him on YouTube clips, he is a player who would be a great player for Celtic to sign. Good number of years in the Celtic team, becoming more experienced, developing his game under the expert tutorship of Rodgers, and then a likely transfer back to top 6 team in England or top 5 league team in Europe. And so it will be interesting to see over the next few days how this develops. The transfer progress regarding Gustav Lagerbielke has not significantly progressed in the last 24 hours, although Celtic and Elfsborg are said to be in active negotiations. Having checked the Elfsborg official football club site on the internet, there is no update on their site either in English or in Swedish, nor in any of the Swedish sporting papers. However, Lagerbielke does appear very keen to come to Celtic, very keen to play at a higher level, and very keen on Champions League football. And so I am very sure that over the weekend the deal will be thrashed out, and we'd fully expect on Monday or Tuesday for that deal to be confirmed. Such deals do need usually to have to wait until the start of a week for stock market and shares reasons. No further progress apparent on the Xavier Mbuyamba deal, and I think this may well prove to be a backup option Celtic are having in their back pocket in case the Gustav Lagerbielke negotiations don't progress as expected. With Celtic signing a further centre back, there will need to be a degree of clear out of additional backups such as Welsh, Scales, and Kobayashi. The proposed loan deal for Kobayashi has not progressed in the last 24 hours, and there has been no update on the various different footballing sites and agent sites regarding Scales or Welsh leaving Celtic in the last 10 to 12 days, although Aberdeen very much continue to have Scales on their radar for a return to their team on a permanent basis now. Celtic also have a couple of players who are very much surplus to requirements, albeit AJETI, who was, it appeared, on his way back to Switzerland to play for Basel. However, his wage demands appear to be out with Basel's finances, and a deal Celtic proposed at the end of July to AJETI and his agent to pay off the remainder of his contract was turned down by Albion AJETI. And having reviewed on the internet the supposed Celtic wage structure, Albion AJETI appears to be one of Celtic's more highly paid players, and is being paid far more than any of the other being played far more than many of the first team regulars, and considerably more than several of the the regular starters, with only players such as Carter Vickers and Cal McGregor above him currently in Celtic's wage structure. With O being injured, one option would have been to have played AJETI as a backup striker, but he has been a rather dismal failure at Celtic, was unsuccessful in his loan last season to Sturm Graz in Austria, and so it may well be that he is simply looking to see out the end of his contract and move on as a completely free agent to negotiate a return to Swiss football or somewhere in Central European leagues. Ismaila SORO had been rumoured to be going to Beitar Jerusalem in Israel. However, a deal was struck with Valenciennes in France, but this has reached a stumbling point due to request for an English agent to be used, which would appear to be against French league policy. And so at the moment, the French league are inquiring into the deal, not in a way that Celtic are in any way being held liable, but more the practice of Ismailo Soro's agent and Valenciennes, the club in France. The loan deal for Ben Summers to go to Dunfermline for a season-long loan, similar to the deal with Ben McPherson and Queen's Park yesterday, also is progressing and appears to be reaching the final stages of negotiation. Another very promising young B-team player is the 18-year-old Rocco VATA. His contract with Celtic is up in 9 months' time, and he is being courted and scouted by quite a number of teams in Europe, primarily Italy and England. He is keen to go out on loan this season, and it appears that the backroom team at Celtic are looking for him to sign a long-term deal at Celtic and then a loan deal away from Celtic for the season, such as to Queen's Park, who are said to be very interested in him, would then be organised. I feel it is important that Celtic do sign players with great potential, such as Rocco VATA, who has been with Celtic since he was a schoolboy, and of course has the link with his father, who was a Celtic player when I was younger. So I think from his 4 substitute appearances last season, VATA is a player that we should sign up in the longer term to prevent losing him for a minor compensation fee, as was the case with Doak and Morrison last season. Couple of other stories just to update on. There appears to be continuing links of Michail Antonio, the 33-year-old West Ham striker, coming to Celtic. However, I very much hope this does not come to fruition, as I can see him being very much another Ian Wright clone or Carlton Cole clone of a player past his best, coming from English Premier League to play in Scotland, thinking that it's going to be easy pickings and easy goals. He is rumoured to be on £69,000 a week at West Ham, which would put him well double Celtic's highest paid player, Callum McGregor, and almost triple that which Cameron Carter-Vickers is said to be receiving. I do not see Michail Antonio being at all an option Celtic should pursue. His goal scoring and statistics for West Ham have gone down and down over recent seasons. He had a relatively poor season in the English Premier League, and the number one targeting team appears now to be Leeds in the English Championship, who of course would have their very large parachute payments and also have been invested by a new American ownership team, and so could easily, I'm sure, afford his excessive wage demands. And one other story to update on. Yesterday, I suggested that Celtic could be looking at Andre LUNIN, the number 2 goalkeeper at Real Madrid, 24-year-old Ukrainian international, very highly fancied in scouting sites, with a number of very high-level key characteristics when scouted. However, the news is that the number 1 goalkeeper at Real Madrid, Thibaut Courtois, has suffered a season-ending injury, with a torn anterior cruciate, and so will be out for the season. And so LUNIN is likely to take over as their number one for the season, which would most likely also mean he will sign a further contract extension at Real Madrid. And so it would appear that for the time being, Joe Hart is our number one, with Bain and Siegrist fighting it out for number two. There has been no update for the last week to 10 days on Dominik Livakovic. And so it looks like we may well be going into our Champions League campaign with Joe Hart as our number one. Joe Hart has been a great servant to Celtic over the last couple of years. I do feel he is a little bit error prone, and one of the other difficulties he has, particularly in Scottish football, is he tends to be unused for ages and ages and ages, and then has to spring into action with a breakaway or mopping up back passes and linking with the defenders, which occasionally I think his concentration is lapsing and has led to a few mix-ups and near misses. Hoping over the next 72 hours or so, however, that the Gustav Lagerbielke deal is finalised, and that the proposed negotiations and interest in James McAtee does progress. If I do manage to research any inside gossip or inside stories, I will update those over the next couple of days. I am planning to do a brief Celtic Aberdeen preview video in the afternoon, and so we'll speak to you again then.